Got a couple of guests here to talk about this. Gemma Holbird and Sarah Jane Staunton are from the Conversation Stamford, which provides personal, social and health education in workshops for schools. And you go into schools, don't you? What do you hear, Sarah Jane, to you first, what do you hear from the young people that you talk to?
Well, firstly, we hear that they are very much engaging with social media and they are using smartphones, and actually we're finding that's becoming younger and younger. So we started our work in secondary schools because we thought that's actually where the work needed to be. But actually, certainly local to us, over 95%, 94%, I think, of children by the time they were 11 were using smartphones and they were engaging on social media. So it was very much an issue that we realised was in primary schools. And what we're finding is that they are saying that they enjoy it, but they are also aware of the harms. They really are aware of the harms. I think they just feel like it maybe won't impact them. So a ban, Gemma, good idea for under 16s?
We are definitely pro a ban for under 16s, but we really don't want the government to think that that's the only thing they need to do. We're fully aware that actually it's not a magic wand, but it will really help support parents. And we talk to parents a lot. That's a big part of our work. And parents are constantly saying to us, I didn't want to give my child access to social media, but I felt I should, I felt I had to, because everyone else is doing it. And what we really want is the government to take a stand on this so that parents can feel more empowered. And also the industry can be forced to change, because they don't need to at the moment. You know, these are multi-billion-dollar platforms that are making money essentially out of our children's and young people's insecurities. And until government sets some laws or parents kind of feel empowered to step up, then nothing's going to change in that arena.
I've been speaking to young people in Australia about how the ban is working there, and obviously it's all eyes on Australia at the moment, isn't it? And I spoke to a young woman last week who said, yeah, it's just easy to get around the ban. You know, we've passed the age verification test, no problem. All her friends are back on all the social media sites. She's 14 years old. It is very difficult to enforce. Now, whether the Australian government manages to kind of step up their enforcement issues, force the tech companies to be better at it, we'll wait and see. But that's the problem here, isn't it? They'll always find a way round. Yeah, I think they will find a way round. And, you know, young people today are really tech savvy. But if we think, sort of putting aside the kind of 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are currently using social media, of course, it's really hard to take it away from them. And of course, they're going to find workarounds. But if we think about the 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds at the moment who are starting to access social media at that age, actually, if we can prevent them from accessing social media before they've had it, I think it'll be really interesting to see what their lives are like when they get to 15 and 16 and how it has been for them growing up without access to social media. And maybe we won't know the impact until that time. So, yeah, it's an interesting experiment, I suppose, really. And Australia is definitely where we're kind of watching.
There are some organisations like the NSPCC, I think, ChildNet, the Molly Rose Foundation, who've come out and said, it's not necessarily, it's a bit of a blunt tool and it's not quite the right thing to do. Would you agree that there might be a more nuanced way to do this?
There might be a more nuanced way. We think actually it should just be the first stage of a process, and we welcome a consultation on the subject so that it can be more robust. What I think is that industry needs to be forced to change, to have better age verification checks, but also potentially to provide platforms for young people where they can do all the positive stuff, they can socialise, they can improve their connections, particularly older teens, but they are protected from a large majority of the harms.
Yeah, and it's the way the algorithms work to keep you scrolling, but also to feed you content that can be really harmful, that plays on particularly developing teenagers' emotions, that kind of keeps them going. It's quite sinister, actually, when you sort of step back and look at it. Can you tell us about, because the evidence is really mixed around, does social media, does being online genuinely cause harm? But from your experience of working with teenagers, what are the sort of outcomes that you're seeing from exposure to this kind of activity from a young age?
What we're seeing, I think, and maybe what isn't talked about quite so much, is actually it's not just what they are doing online, it's what they're not doing in real life as a result. Because like you said, those algorithms, it's a highly addictive. You know, we're engaging online in a way that's very short videos, it's reels, it's kind of low effort, pushing
Quick
a button, and we are getting quick, heavy hits of dopamine, you know, that reward chemical. And that's really addictive. And it also makes our brains feel like everything else is boring. And so when we're speaking to parents and teachers and children, we're finding that actually they're saying, you know, we don't want to play with Lego anymore, actually, because that takes a bit of time and effort and you know, delayed gratification. And even we don't want to watch a long film anymore because we're expecting the story to be over in 2 minutes, not 2 hours. And perhaps more worryingly, teachers are saying they cannot concentrate anymore in class and they cannot regulate emotions because, let's face it, we've always got these distraction devices. So we're never bored. We never have to kind of manage our tricky emotions and sit with them. We'll just distract away from them. And actually, those skills are life skills. We need to develop those skills to get on in the world. And actually, if children aren't learning how to do that naturally through play, through their kind of social interactions, I think actually that's where the damage is.
It's a really important way to frame the conversation, actually. I think
Yeah.
that's really helpful. Just really briefly, do you have children?
Yes,
How have you
we
managed
do.
it yourself?
It's really hard. We've both got 3 children. Mine are a little bit younger. I mean, let's face it, I am a sometimes stressed working parent, got some neurodivergence in my family as well. We use screens, we enjoy screens, and actually I have found some real benefits to some of the things that my children do on screens. But I try, and it is a battle, to stay away from those heavy dopamine
Gemma, what
kind
about
of
you?
games.
I've got one child in primary school and 2 in secondary school, and actually I've certainly not allowed them to have smartphones till secondary school. And once they've got to secondary school, the parental controls on their smartphones have been heavily set. I've also delayed social media for them until they are in year 10. That's obviously not always gone down well.
Yeah.
You know, children are not going to just say, yeah, that's fine, especially in the current culture, because all their peers are on social media and it's really hard. But I can definitely see the benefits of that. And actually, even if in this moment of parenting, I don't feel or see those benefits, my hope and my belief is that actually as they reach young adulthood, that I will look back and go, I'm glad I made that decision.
Well, good work.
Mine
very
are
much.
in young adulthood and they've always got a phone in front of them, but I think hopefully they've got it in the right place. Who knows?
Yeah.
Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank
Thank you.